Hi. When you find somebody intently busy with his computer, what do you expect to find on his screen? Today, chances are it's not going to be a word processor or spreadsheet or one of the traditional work related software packages that you expect to see. You'd probably find a web browser. Now, what's special about the web browser? It's something that simply lets you access the internet at the face of it. Today, however, things have changed drastically, so much so that you find huge multi-billion-dollar launches of new web browsers even though they are completely free. So surely it's not just another software package that lets you connect to the internet. There's a lot more that a web browser does. Now the latest and biggest of these has been for Microsoft in the middle of March, the launch of Internet Explorer 5 worldwide. Just like the other browsers like Netscape, like the earlier versions of IE, this is a free browser. And just like the others, it lets you surf the web, check your email, and of course do a whole lot of things, including controlling anything else that can be controlled with a web browser. Now, what's new about IE5? If you listen to the hype surrounding the launch, you would expect to find lots and lots of things because they've spent millions and millions of dollars not just on developing it but also on publicizing it. Well, some of the big things which are really there are all kinds of tiny little details which have been added to make this browser a lot friendlier. Now, let's take a look at some of them. One of the things that makes IE5 much easier to use is that everything about it looks a lot friendlier. For instance, there's this title bar, there's an address bar below it, and you can type in the address. So in other words, if you want to go to some site related to Doordarshan or All India Radio, whatever, you just type in the name of that thing right there. Now you could do that earlier using the search engines, but right now all you have to do is enter this in the address bar. So that's one simple way to get to a website. The other thing is that it's very easy to type in addresses now. For instance, you can begin to type in something. Now if Internet Explorer doesn't recognize it, if you haven't gone to that site before, then it's going to prompt you to search to find where that site is. If it recognizes it as part of the URL, it begins to complete that address for you. It auto completes. So if you actually want to get to even your email service and you begin to type in, let's say, Hotmail, it's going to complete that for you and take you to Hotmail. When you start entering your details, you will be surprised to find that they're already there because you type in your name, it just completes the name for you. It completes your password for you if you wanted to complete it, and then you just click and it goes there. So in other words, it made things a lot easier so that you don't have to remember every little detail. And of course, if you're concerned with security issues, like you don't want your password to be remembered by the system, it's your choice. You can choose not to have it remember your password. So there's a lot in it for newbies. What about power users like myself? Well, one of the things we are very excited about is this: the ability to save a whole page together, complete with graphics, links, and everything. Now this was really missing, and I don't know why it wasn't there in any of the browsers till now, but IE5 is the first one to give you this feature. If you come across a page like this which is packed with graphics, you just do save as and say OK, and what it does is it saves the entire page complete with links, and you can even choose to, if you want to, go to the favorites, say add to favorites, and copy a number of links deep into the page. You say I want one link further down and say save. Now what this gives you is the ability to really work offline very effectively. This means that if you want to, let's say you get up in the morning, you want to be able to read your news right there without having to download the stuff on a very slow link. You can say, okay, go to the beginning page of the Times of India or the Economic Times or whatever, download every single link which is there up to one link deep, and then simply look at it. When it's ready, you just go there and over your coffee you keep clicking the links like this, and there you are. So let's say you want to see all the services of VSNL. You go to VSNL's page. Now if you keep clicking here like this, you'll find that it's kind of slow. But if you say add to favorites and save links one level deep, then look what happens. After you've done this, then you can come back to it anytime, even when you're not connected to the internet, like when you're driving somewhere or you're traveling, you're in a plane, and you can click on each of these links and you find that you are right there in that link instantly without having to wait for the page to download. Now there's a lot more for the power user. One of the other things I like about this as a power user is the ability to really customize IE5. Now when you're installing, you can choose the modules that you want to install, and when you do that, you find that you can vary the disk space that you need anywhere from something like 10 to almost 100 megabytes of disk space, which means that ultimately what you will end up with can have all the features that you want, or it could be just the bare minimal browser which takes up just 10 MB on your disk space. Beyond that, if you're a power user and you want even more functionality, you can already begin to download stuff from the websites. For instance, from the Microsoft site, you can now download power accessories and power tools for IE5, which give you all kinds of little interesting, useful, some not so useful but fun features. For instance, this set of power toys, which I have just installed here right now, gives you the ability to go into an image on this page, right click and zoom into that image, so that little image becomes bigger, and I can do this again and again, so it becomes bigger and bigger. Of course, it gets a little pixelated when I do that. I can right click on this page and say show me all the links on this page in one neat window like this. I can also go in and say show me all the images listed neatly out on this page. I can go to a quick search option and I can simply type in my favorite search engines abbreviations. For instance, Lycos, I do LY and search for All India Radio and enter, and there you are, it goes right there. So where do you get to find a browser like this? Like I said, it's free, so that means you can pick it up from a whole lot of free sites like download.com or microsoft.com, where the browser itself is from. But it's a big browser, it's a big package. When you download it, it's something like 60 MB. It could take you the whole night to download it. So you'd be better off looking for a free CD, typically with a magazine or a book, or simply a shareware CD that you can buy from a shop which has this browser in it. You may also get it free with a whole lot of other packages in the future. What do you need to run it? You need a standard Windows system with Windows 95 or 98 on which you can install this. There is also a Windows 3.1 version, and there's a Macintosh version which is shortly out. You should have at least 32 megabytes of RAM. If you have a multimedia system, well, it helps because there's a whole lot of sound and things that you can play, but it's not absolutely essential. But the bottom line is, should you go in and install this fairly massive package which is bigger than some of your word processors and spreadsheets and actually take up so much space on your hard disk? Well, I'd say overall, yes. I think this is a fairly significant advancement in browsers because it has finally gone ahead of its nearest competition, Netscape, with a whole lot of these usability features. And whether you're a beginner who doesn't know anything about the internet and has just got an account from VSNL or Satyam or one of the ISPs, and you want to begin surfing the web or using email, or you're an advanced user looking for a whole lot of power and usability and features from his browser, this is a great little browser to actually do a whole lot of these things together with, and I think you should go out and get it.